Hi, it's Dren, and I wanted to share today a session with you from my album Psychic, which is under the artist name of polyheDren, and it was the collaboration record that I released last year. This particular song I wanted to share is relevant because our friend Josh Freese is on this song. And if you've been following rock news, you'll know that he was just recently announced as the drummer for Foo Fighters. So our congratulations to Josh for all that. It's well-deserved. So he played on this song with all the stuff I did, and it was a collaboration also with the Residents. Josh has always been a big Residents fan, and that's one of the ways I kind of got to know him from my work with the Residents. I knew that he wanted to do something with him. So this is all during pandemic lockdown and whatnot. And I thought that I found a way that we could all collaborate together, put this song together. He did his tracks, Residents did their tracks, and resulted in this. This kind of came around full circle back in January this year being 2023, where both Josh and I were part of the Residents' 50th anniversary concert in San Francisco. I arranged a song for the musicians we had from the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. We had about 12 musicians in our band. Josh played drums, and we had all these other fantastic musicians. And we did a cover song of Whatever Happened to Violinist Fats and God Song. It was sort of a medley that I put together. So we played that. Josh played on another tune, and then a bunch of other guest artists played along with the Residents. So one side of the stage was the Residents, and one stage was all of us guest artists, and so we would swap back and forth. It was pretty fun. I have some pictures here I'll show as I'm talking about this. Les Claypool played, David J. from Bauhaus, Ego Plum played, we had the San Francisco Girls Choir. We had a great group of guests play for this whole event, along with, of course, the Residents. So I thought this would be a good piece to share with you, so you can see Josh's drums and the tracks that he gave me for this, hear them stand alone a little bit, and kind of see how I put this tune together. The song is called 16 Gold Candles, and there's a video for it. I'll put the link to that video here, and you can check out the music video for it. But anyway, let's get into the session, and I'll kind of show you around. Okay, so we're here into the session now. This is my Logic session, my mix session. Now, this is not going to sound exactly like the final mix. If you listen to it, I'll put a link to the record and the song down here as well if you want to listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Anyhow, my original Logic session got kind of corrupted. There were some old plugins that I think messed with this session when I tried to reopen it. Now, that's probably due to the fact that I did this on an Intel machine originally, and then I upgraded last year to a Mac Studio M2 machine, I believe. So it's probably the issue because the plugin architecture is a lot different on Apple Silicon. So something probably happened, and there was only maybe one or two plugins. I was throwing a lot of weird errors here that I hadn't seen before trying to open this session. Anyway, long story short, too late. This is not going to sound exactly the same way because I had to kill some of the plugins in order to get the session open. If you don't know much about the polyheDren project, it was a whole record of me collaborating with guest artists during the pandemic. Now, I hope to do more of these records because it was really fun. So I hope to have more of these kind of projects. I have a couple things in the works right now, but it's something I really want to keep doing because I learned so much when I work with other musicians and artists and collaborate together on stuff. So that's what I want to keep doing. Anyhow, the original record had not only the Residents and Josh Freese on it, had Nels Cline from Wilco, Eva Batova, who's one of my favorite musicians ever in the world, a bunch of folks locally here in Oakland, Bay Area. There's a bunch of great guest musicians on that record. So again, I'll put the link down below in the description, and here I'll play some of this tune for you. So one thing to note is that Josh doesn't come in until around here 104. So all the percussion you hear before that, that's just a bunch of loops and things that I created from various samples and various drum machines and whatnot. So I'll get things going here The synth sound is from Typhon. It's this little desktop synth that I was playing around with when I was doing this.
As the glow from 16
and there's the residents coming in with the narration
of the room, noticing an Easter lily right outside the window.
Now, all I've really done to the residents' narrative is just add some things to bring his voice out.
And as she, an empty styrofoam container,
I don't know what happened there. They just kind of
tumbling like the boulder
stumbled a bit. Okay.
While knowing its illusions were empty.
So these are interesting because the residents listen to these vocals. I added this speaker plugin to get it to kind of sound weird a little bit, weirder than it was. So you can hear this real quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold candles.
There's some more fun Residence plugin stuff coming up that I'll show you when we get to that point. And we have, I think, our background singers. Background vocalists on this song are a couple of Bay Area legends. They've sang with Santana, Prince, all sorts of amazing people. And that would be Zoe Ellis and Ashling Cole. They both sang together. We recorded at New Improved Recording with John Finkbeiner, which is the last session I got a chance to do with John before he passed away. So I was really glad I got to at least have that last session with John. I did dedicate the polyheDren record to John's memory. So here's Zoe and Ash.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold candles.
And I think we did a few things here. Maybe it's not all in this section. I think these are just room mics that I didn't use. Oh, okay. So this is what I want to play. This res counting, you'll see. Now they use Logic and had given me this session with their plugins intact. So this, I added the speaker, but this delay was exactly as they gave it to me. So I wanted to leave that as it was. So they gave me that delay plugin just like that. So when you hear that, the residents made that choice. I just put it in this speaker to kind of give it a different texture, make it pop out a little bit. We're almost to Josh's entrance here. And one thing I'll point out too is all this tambourine and drum, all this stuff leading up, that wasn't Josh. I've been asked that before if he was playing everything, and it's really just drum kit, and then he added a tambourine track too. So let's hear his entrance again. And let's just hear that soloed here. So I can show you some of the plugins that I used on here. I know that he records in a pretty small room with things real close mic'd, but I was still getting a lot of bleed on some of this stuff. So I use the noise gate on most of these. Rack tom. Not the ride, but the snare, yes. Yeah, there's a gate on there. And I'm pretty sure there's a gate on there. Yeah, gate. So a lot of those individual things, like the main kick, we also got these are exactly the way that I got things from Josh. So we had a floor tom, a kick sub mic, a kick, which is probably the kicker, overheads, rack tom, ride, a couple rooms, snare top and bottom, and then the tambourine. And what I also want to show is when I bring the room mics in, I'm not using them. I'm not using the room mics until big fills and things like that. So that entrance we have the room mics on. So let's just hear the room mics. Let me just put those on. And then they come out, and then I'll just put this back in. And then what if we hear that without the room mics? So I just wanted to have some of that room sound to the fill. And then let's skip up here to... Okay, so we go to the chorus here, I think. And then we have this post-chorus thing happening right here. Let's see, I bring in the room mics again.
Turning back, the candles captivated her once more, causing her eyes to dilate, begging the glow to fill the empty hollow.
So you can see I put a little automation to make that snare a little bit louder in that spot. Let's just hear the drums in this little section. I didn't use the room mics in this first section because I wanted it to feel really tight because of the pattern he was playing. And there's a break, and then you'll hear him with the room mics here with this tom pattern thing. We check those out. Put them back in. So it makes a big difference to put those in, those room mics on these sections. All right, so let's just hear some of that with the band.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold candles.
And then those room mics out again until we have the same part here at the end of the song. And we have this very odd sort of back and forth between the residents, Zoe and Ashling. That's Ash. This is Zoe coming up here. They complement each other really well because they kind of sing in different registers. Zoe's more of an alto. And the way we did those particular vocals, I think Ash went first. This is her first take. She just slammed through it. We didn't even do a second take. It was so phenomenal. And then Zoe did hers. Again, same thing. One pass take. We didn't do another one. She just nailed it. And then I went through and just kind of decided. I didn't know what I was going to do here. This wasn't in my mind before we recorded these things. We just put it down. And then this became a nice way to kind of include all the best parts of their performances. We couldn't have them both singing in those parts all the way through, but kind of go back and forth. That seemed like a good way to handle this and feature both of them at their best, while also hearing the residents joining in the way the residents do. Let's see. I think this is just the group vocals.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 gold candles.
And they sang those parts together. The parts that sound together like that, they didn't separate those. We recorded them together so that they could really get those, the tightness of the vocals together. And they sing together a lot. So they had even some tricks that I hadn't heard of that really worked well. Like some of the syllables they would leave off, like one singer would leave off and then pick up the second half of the syllable. So there wasn't too much sibilance or too much pop. It's great working with great musicians who know those sort of things. Okay, let's see. We have residents. This is the vocal lead.
One time.
Yeah, and there's the delay again. The group of residents singing the canting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then let's hear this. I love this end drum part here. So let's hear it with just drums first. It didn't have that much compression on it when I did the final mix. It's a little overdone right now. And then let's hear it with everyone else. We're mics there again. I'll turn them off for a sec.
Fireflies wait for sunset. Silent.
And that's the sound. It's just was too dry for me. I wanted the room.
Open up, and life pretends again.
And then there's weird business at the end. Where is that track? Oh, here it is. So I had taken the resonance vocals and the quanon, which is an instrument, the bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-ba, that little instrument you hear. I had taken those and ran them through my Euro rack over there. So I ran these through the Make Noise Morphogene. I had taken these and put them on the little SD card, popped that into the Morphogene. Then I ran that Morphogene also through the Instro R-Bar and just kind of recorded directly out of the rig into Logic and just was tweaking. And this is kind of the best edited version of that. So I had done that with the Quanon and I'd done it with the Residents. So here's the Residents stuff. And all the pitch stuff was done with the Euro rack. And then we got this one too. And then together. Okay, well, that's just a brief look at this session. I hope that you found it somewhat insightful, somewhat interesting. And again, congrats to Josh on Foo Fighters. Nothing needs to hear it from me. He's heard it from everybody. It's well-deserved. And he's really kicking ass in that band. So it's great to see. So anyway, thanks again for watching. And we'll see you next time.